This is my sermon for the Sunday of the Ascension, and it's entitled COVID-19, Fog, Descending and Ascending. One morning this week I was walking my dogs and I met another familiar dog walker. Dogs on a leash go straight up to each other. They sniff and they smell and they wag their tails and say hello in all the glorious non-verbal ways that they have. The humans, 2 dog leashes apart, stand and talk. How's it going? Not too bad. I'm glad of the sunshine at last. Yeah, but I'm sick of COVID. When's it going to end? You never know. They're letting us get out a bit more, and that's good. But maybe there'll be a second wave. Or delayed symptoms. You think you're okay then, bam! COVID. It's like living in a fog. Yeah, like a fog. You just can't see forward. Yeah, right. I think back, as you might, to when we were in a fog or a mist. I was walking with Lucy and our then quite small children. We were in Scotland and we had climbed up some hills on the edge of a height overlooking the lower land where our car was parked. Suddenly fog swept in. It looked a bit like mist as it blew towards us, and then it was too late. Thick fog, can't see your feet fog. If you've ever been in fog, you'll remember how direction is lost and sound is different and voices come from elsewhere. Lucy and I gathered our children and we kept hold on one another. I've heard in Newfoundland you can put your head on the ground and sometimes you can see underneath the fog. But it wasn't working here, and instinctively I always wanted to climb up and get above the fog. We had the advantage of only just being up and close to the edge of the valley we'd climbed out of, so we followed downwards. Half an hour later, we came out of the fog, deeply thankful, prayerfully. Loss of life in fog is not unknown on the northern British hills. Fog can lead to your death. But we could see our car parked across the rough ground by the road and we were safe. We held on to that memory of fog and it's never quite left me. When will we be able to see safely from the ground of the fog of COVID? Which way do we go? Shut everything up and wait at home? Or just keep on as before but not knowing how many will die as a result? Do we go up the research route as soon as possible? Do we hunker down in thick mist of the second wave? We don't really know. We just don't know. We're in the fog. We can't see which way to go and a mistake could be deadly. We can't move too suddenly or too quickly. I remember that story of Jesus going up a mountain to meet Elijah and Moses. A few of the disciples were there too. And then, do you remember, a cloud of thick fog swept over them. They didn't know what was going on. Then a voice came. This is my son, my lovely son. Listen to him. And the cloud moved on and they understood, maybe. And then they could get off that scary mountain. That was the Transfiguration story. Acts tells it this way. When he had said these things, as they were looking, he was taken up and a cloud received him from their sight. That's the Ascension Story. They're different stories, but they all have the same mythological truth in them. Profound truth is not worked out or thought through. It is mythological. A myth, in present degraded English usage, means the opposite of truth, but anyone who actually understands English knows that a myth is a story where the truth is on the inside, and the outside words or images are just the container. Mythological truth, as I've said before, emerges if you wait and ponder and look. It emerges for you. It's from God. So let's get back to the clouds again. Emerging from the cloud of Transfiguration is the truth of God in human form, Jesus. No longer radiant with Moses and Elijah and the voice of God huge and echoing in memory. He comes out just a guy. But more than that, now we have seen. Rising up into the cloud of the Ascension, away from my reach, up, 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 and finally entering the cloud, slipping from my ordinary way of knowing, but resting in my racing pulse and surprise and bafflement. The curtain has dropped, the clouds have closed the view, but it is only because this part of the show has concluded. The next part is beginning, and you who have seen or understood, you who have grasped, no matter how inadequately, you are now carrying the story onwards. The story, the mythical story, is one of being in confusion, uncertainty, incomprehension, even miscomprehension. We just don't know, and we want to know. We want a scientific knowing. We want a truth with a guarantee. But God's way is different. God says to you, just go ahead, carefully, one step after another. Don't be terrified, just be careful. You can find the path, but if you rush, you'll risk hurting yourself and others. Just go slowly. Go believing God, that God will show you the next step, the next turn, the time to rest. Go believing God will tell you enough. Get enough information, money, hope, companionship, health, or whatever it is you need to get to safe harbor. But God requires of you to go forward not knowing. God requires of you trust, and faith, and hope. You will have Transfiguration mythical moments when this story tells you you cannot see what to do next. You may feel trapped, alone, disoriented, and afraid. You may find yourself feeling frozen in fear. So now, God says, trust me. Step slowly forward, crouching if you must, touching the ground in the fog. Let me lead you. I will bring you out of the cloud you are in and into my light, warmth, and love. Just trust me on this one. You will have your Ascension mythical moments, when that story tells you you cannot figure this one out. You can't think your way through the pain, the loss, the confusion, or hopelessness that is in your heart. You want to fix things, but you can't. You want to save the day. It cannot be saved. All your skills, all your learning, all the websites on the net, all of these are of no use. It is your heart that is broken, your hope that is gone, your skills and your tricks don't work anymore. So, put your coping mechanisms away and just sit with God, the God you cannot see, and maybe you're not even sure you believe in now. Just let your longing for a clear answer go. Let it go. Be confused. Let yourself feel it. Be afraid and let yourself feel that too. Let God lift you up into the cloud of the Ascension, away from the warm, solid but heartbroken earth, and let God enfold you in love beyond knowing. Let God bring you up to the top of the cloud, like being in an aeroplane that finally breaks out of the dull cloud on takeoff into sunlight and astonishing, unexpected beauty of light and shadow and wonder. Your grief and loss and pain will not be removed, but they will be set in a different context, held in a different way, and not by you alone. You will know yourself to be held by God's cloudy, clear, cold, and warm, incomprehensible love. The Ascension Story and the Transfiguration story are both profoundly true, and in a way not true. A theological professor once asked me, "So, where did Jesus go after the cloud? Did he keep on going up? How far do you think he's got by now? Has he passed Saturn yet?" It takes a lot of years to answer that question. I had to really think what the Ascension was about. My answer to the question he asked is in what I've already just said to you. Transforming cloud and a knowledge deeper than words. It's like living in a fog. Yeah, like a fog. You just can't see forward. Yeah. And that is okay. The cloud of unknowing is the place where love and trust is. Remember this.